Hi, welcome back to part 2. Today we are going to get straight to the point and we are going to talk about another aspect of compositing, and that is transparency. Alright, the official phrase or the term that is used is called alpha transparency, and that's something that we're going to talk about today. But to best understand what a transparency is, I'm now going to leave the screen and I'm going to put some text in my place. And then I'll walk back in. The moment I walk back in, you will understand what transparency means. You will also understand that video or compositing is actually based on the layer structure. Some elements are going to be in front of me, some elements are going to be at the back, hence the green screen. And by mixing all of these elements in different depth and space, you'll be able to create a very interesting image. Okay? But before I leave, I want you to draw your special attention to this square box that you're looking at right now. From today onwards, we will call this the frame or the video frame. And this frame is super important, simply because this is the space that is most valuable to you and to your customer. Alright? Whatever happens in here is going to be your report card. People are going to judge you based on what you do in here. Let's begin. Congratulations, you now understand that in a video you can place things in the foreground, in the background, or what we call here the action plane. Okay? To explain the concept further, I will be going into Premiere Pro shortly with this clip, and I will show you how I do the 3 elements. Okay? From today onwards also, we are going to call whatever happens in the background, alright, as the background plate. Pingan, plate, alright? So if you watch a YouTube video and they say BG plate, that's that area over there. Whatever happens in the background is shot separately, okay? The foreground plate is this, or the action plate, alright? FG plate. Whatever happens in here is where the host is, where the actors are, okay? We also have an element in front, like for example right now, I'm putting a logo over there. Or right now, I've got some text coming up at the bottom. Or right now, I may have an infographic floating in the foreground. Notice this is the foreground. My hand is behind the infographic. I can now make the infographic in the background, and my hand is now behind. My hand is now in front of the background. Even I get confused sometimes. You need to understand something. When I'm shooting this particular segment, nothing is happening. Okay? I am editing all of these things later in post-production. Your job is to do the same thing, to plan what you want to say and interact with the elements. Alright? If I'm standing here on the frame right, is it frame right? For you it's frame left, I can't remember. But if I'm standing here, there's an empty space over here, I'm going to interact with this. If I'm talking about an infographic or an animation, I can look at the camera like this and then turn and look at the object like this. Okay? If you're really good at compositing, you can turn around and grab an object and hold it in your hand. These are all part and parcel of a compositing technique. Okay? Today's lesson is to understand the concept of layers, foreground, background, action layer, and experiment with these clips. Let's go to Premiere Pro now, shall we? Okay, welcome back to Premiere Pro session. And today what we're going to do is we are going to try to replicate the project as you saw earlier. Now please excuse all the other noises that you will hear because I have the window open right now. And school is in session next door. But let's try to get through this as fast as possible. Okay, so this is a brand new Premiere Pro project. So as usual, you will be required to go to File, New, Project, and then you specify a name for the project and leave everything standard. Yeah. All right, so once that is done, make sure you are in the editing workflow, which is on top here, and proceed to bring in the clips that you want to use. Now, I have already transferred the files, and you will see that I have about 2 files that I want to use. Disregard the other 2, those were extras. The first one is the video file, so I'm going to select that, click Open, and you will see the file over here. I am going to just double click it because I want to look for that particular segment where I was talking. And I think that segment is, I think it's here. I'm going to set the in point, out point, and then I'm just going to drag it to the timeline like so. Okay. Automatically the video comes in, you can see it playing, but it is in layer 1 or V1. Okay, now I don't want it to be there because I know this is not the background plate. This is the intermediate or the action plate, which is the one in the middle. So I'm going to push that to layer 2, and then I am going to proceed to import the background video or the background plate. In this case, it's just a video I downloaded from YouTube, and notice I'm now going to put that video in V1, which is underneath the video clip. You can see by, if I move here, you can see the video, the background video, and if I move back here, you will see me. Okay, now you notice again, like I said, the transparency hasn't been set. So what we want to do now is to apply a chroma key effect to the video. So if you've watched the earlier lesson, you will know that we have to go to the Effects tab, look for the keying folder, and use the Ultra Key plugin and drag it over here. All right, nothing happens. We still need to configure the plugin. To do that, I'm going to use the color picker. I'm going to select the green on the screen. Straight away, it looks pretty darn good. I am going to just maybe tweak it a little bit just to make it a little bit more attractive. It looks good to me. If I'm not sure, I will use the alpha channel to confirm. All right, yeah, that's pretty nice. I am pretty happy with that. Okay, and congratulations, we now have the middle ground or the foreground, and we have the background set. Now I want to add the text, okay, and the text goes right on top of everything else. Okay, now to do that is actually quite easy. All you need to do is select the layer that you want to work in, or you can just click on the screen and then press Ctrl T. Ctrl T will create a new text layer. Okay, and if you go to the Effects tab here, it will show you the layer, the text layer controls. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of these things over here because if you've studied desktop publishing, or even if you've used Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, you would be familiar with a lot of these terminology over here, like fonts, justification, leading, position, scale, rotation, blah, blah, blah. It should make some sense. In any case, what I want you to do is to appreciate that, number one, you can move the text around like this just by clicking it and sliding it around. Okay, if you click the timeline and move it left and right like this, you can actually change when it appears. Okay, remember guys, video is a linear format. It's not static. Okay, it is based on time. So do make sure that your video appears at the point in time that you choose. Do not let it come up at random. It will not make any sense. Okay, right, so this layer is right on top, and if you look at the video, it is in front of my body. Okay, what if I want the text to be behind me? Well, it's quite easy. All I need to do is change the layer order. I'm going to bring my video to the top, and I'm going to bring the text underneath, and congratulations, the text is now between me and the desert. Okay, still movable. I can still edit it. I can still move it around. The only difference is it now has a different order. Okay, guys, what if I want to add another text layer in front of me? Well, as you can see from the timeline, we have run out of layers. All you need to do, right click on the timeline, select add track. Okay, something is, see this, V4? V4 has added a track for you. You can now Control C the text layer and Control V it, and you will now have two text layers ready for you to work on. Okay, guys? Now, if you can see, the text layers are in the exact same position. See that? But if I were to click it and move it, you now have two very separate layers ready for you to manipulate and play. All right? So just to recap, the layer order is important if you want to play with depth. Also, if you want to create a transparency or an alpha transparency, make sure that you apply a chroma key filter to the video, number one. Number two, if you are using the text tool in Premiere Pro, it will automatically create an alpha transparent layer for you. And you can tell it's a transparent layer because the words have holes in them. See this E over here? You can look through the letter E, you can look through the letter A. This is an alpha transparent layer. All right, guys? In the coming videos, I'll show you how to make a transparent layer or an alpha transparency using different software. Premiere Pro, Illustrator, even After Effects. Okay? Now, here's a question that I've always gotten from my students and even my customers. Okay? Why are there so many ways to do the same thing? Well, the answer is straightforward. Premiere Pro allows you to add text in this manner, but it is utterly and absolutely simple. In other words, you cannot do fancy effects work. Okay? If you want fancy effects work, you're going to need to start using a combination of software. All right? You're going to need Adobe Illustrator to create the text layer. All right? And when I say text layer, I'm talking of curved text or fancy texts. Then you're going to need Photoshop to create the textures for the text layer. Then you're going to need a 3D program to create a 3D perspective of the text layer. Then you're going to need After Effects to create a composite of those text layers, because you will now want to integrate shadows, all sorts of funny stuff, lighting levels, all right, even grunge and grime and dust particle layers. Okay? As your experience grows, it also becomes more complicated, unfortunately. All right? But like I said, we are currently at a very beginning point for all of you. So please try to achieve all of these 3-layer effect using Premiere Pro, because this is all that you will probably be needing, all right, for your school's assignments. Now, with that said, if you decide that you want to go one step further and you want to achieve a higher level of quality, please come and see me and I will be glad to show you how it's done. Unfortunately, that requires you to master a little bit more regarding Photoshop, regarding Illustrator, and even After Effects. Okay, guys? Thank you very much. Remember, the journey has just begun for you. It is a long journey, but do not give up, because one day you are going to be the expert that you want to be. Thank you very much, guys, and see you tomorrow.